Hello people, and welcome to Crypto Exposed. Okay guys, it's official. We've had the file in to dismiss the the Ripple lawsuit, so it is officially a done deal. And so the first thing that I've been seeing straight away is like, oh, you know, the price really didn't pump that much. I was expecting way more now, and so I wanted to get into why this is the case. To be honest with you, I am actually quite surprised as to why people are still asking that question, but I'll explain it. Yeah, so if you guys are wondering why, you know, XRP didn't just furiously rally up to like $5 to $10 or something off the back of this news, it's because realistically what's actually happened here isn't really anything new. So yeah, like for a lot of people who are wondering what's going on, like yes, the lawsuit is over. And obviously, had Ripple have continued going on, yeah, okay, let's be realistic. It's possible that it could have backfired on them, possibly, because it could have been a thing where, you know, they took it all the way up to the courts. And it could have been a thing where, you know, that when they tried to do the appeal, it could have been that it backfired on them. And the court even disagreed with some of Torres's ruling that went in Ripple's favour. They could have said, actually, we completely agree with the SEC and think you were completely wrong, so we're going to overturn even the positive things that you guys got, Ripple, and we're going to actually, you know, make it a lot worse for you. So it could have backfired in that regard. I don't think that's likely, to be honest with you. I actually do think more than likely, had they have gone the full way, I do think it's probably more likely that they actually would have got the ruling about the injunction and stuff overturned. But you never know, right? You never know. This is the thing that I said before when the actual lawsuit was going on, is that, hey, we're dealing with human beings here, and we're dealing with a whole new asset class in terms of crypto. So you've got to think that, you know, like, one, these people work for, you know, they work for, like, you know, governments and the police, and there are, you know, so when you've got like a government agency like the SEC, they might be more biased to, you know, side with the SEC, just naturally, right? That's a possibility. But also, they just might not understand this all properly yet, right? They might still be trying to come to grips with crypto, not thoroughly understand it, and still trying to get their head around it. So that could also be playing, you know, a part in how they deal with, you know, the actual ruling and things like that, and how they make their decisions. But yeah, so, you know, Ripple in the end decided to call it a day when they tried to go back to Judge Torres with the SEC, and they both tried to say, hey, can we kind of let this go? Like, this ruling that you've got where you've put this injunction in place, you know, the SEC have had a change of heart here, and the SEC, they're like, yeah, we've had a change of heart, so can we come and like kind of drop this stuff? Judge Torres decided not to do that, which a lot of people have given slack for, but I do understand it. At the end of the day, she's given her ruling. At the end of the day, now, if you're asking her to change her ruling, it's almost like you're trying to get her to admit that what she originally said was wrong. So I do understand her thinking of, look, I went through this for like 2-3 years with you guys. I told you along the way, can you come to an agreement? You didn't, which at the end of the day, there was a different party in power then. So I don't think I think that's a bit of a silly way to look at it in that regard. But at the end of the day, like, I've given my decision. I've given my ruling. I've had to be thoughtful about this. I'm not just going to overturn it now just because, you know, they've had a change of heart. So I do understand her position. But obviously it sucks for us as, you know, XRP holders, right? So what this ultimately led to was Ripple and the SEC saying, okay, let's just drop it. We're not going to go any further in terms of trying to appeal this. We'll just drop it and just move it out of the way. We're just done with this, which I get. It's been a headache. It's been 3-4 years, whatever, however long it's been, and the whole thing's been a nightmare to say the least. It's been very draining as an XRP holder. So I don't know what it could have been like for Ripple as a company having to deal with this. So I think they're just ready to just move on. But yes, so ultimately, what you've got to understand with this is where we are now, ultimately, with what's just happened with this lawsuit being dismissed. We're basically back to July 2023 when Judge Torres gave her initial ruling. That's basically where we are, because all that happened after Judge Torres' initial ruling in July 2023, all that happened was she gave her ruling and then the SEC decided to appeal. And so because the SEC decided to appeal, Ripple decided to appeal. So let's just say SEC hadn't have tried to appeal at that time and they've just left the ruling as it was. Basically, we'll be exactly where we are now. Right? So this is what I mean. Like everything that's happened up until this point now has been trying to deal with the appeal. All that's happened is the appeals have been dropped. So originally what Judge Torres ruled in July 2023, that's now just what it's going to be, what she initially said. So when the price, did a better spike back then, although we were in a bear market, so while there was a spike, it couldn't get to its true full potential. That really was the main hype of it. And I think people have got to a point now where they do understand, this isn't new. Like, nothing that's happened here is really anything special because this happened back in July 2023. Like, we already knew this news. This is just back to where we are then. And I think people have just wisened up to that now. Don't get me wrong, because you're in a bull market, you can still get that speculative pump. Like, you still do get people just FOMOing in, people who don't fully understand it and, don't understand what's actually going on. They just see something that looks positive and then just buy in. So I'm not saying that you're not going to still get some kind of pump, which we saw, but it was never going to be that pump that, blows XRP out of the stratosphere. That was just never going to be the case because realistically, the lawsuit's kind of been done for a few years now. They've just been dealing with the appeal side of it and they've just decided to just drop the appeal. But, with it being dropped now, we're just back to 2023 when the original ruling was given out. So, nothing's really changed here. Nothing significant has really changed. We're just back to kind of square one in that regard. For me, what I'd say, guys, is we're in a bull market now. It's not going to be the ruling that, send it flying off. It's going to be the bull market, that's what it's going to be. We're in bull market territory. Everything's starting to rise. We're waiting for that alt season rally to kick off. So that's really what, if you're really wondering and if you're really wondering and thinking what's going to really drive the price up, that's going to be it, guys. That's really what's going to be the big mover here. So we'll sit and wait with patience and, see how things go, in time to get the ball really moving. But, I do believe it's coming. I will say this, I don't think this is anything to be concerned about. I don't think that this means now that XRP is not going to have a rally or anything like that. I think we're just going to wait for the actual bull run to come in and the alt season to take over. That's where we'll see the real price action, not through this, because this is kind of old news, to be honest with you. A lot of us have been off of the lawsuit for a couple of years now. We're still listening just to get the updates as to how the appeal was going, but, Ripple had already got XRP not deemed as a security. So, that the main concern that was there was already sorted. It was already dealt with, so anything after that is just okay, be great to get other things sorted, but the main concern's over with. We've got nothing to worry about as XRP holders. So, just thought I'd quickly explain, as I've been seeing a lot of talk about it online and stuff, so I thought I'd just cover this. Thank you very much for watching this. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And hit that bell. Take care.